Sometimes it's hard to eat green and eat local. That's why I'm here at Pho 777, a locally owned Vietnamese restaurant, to try out some of their vegan options and chat with the owner.
My name is Jennifer Nguyen. I'm the owner of the restaurant. I started it when I was a senior in high school, so I'm a freshman in college now.
It's always been my mom's dream to have her own restaurant, or at least like a bakery or something, but she's never like really wanted to like open a big restaurant just because she isn't the best with English or paperwork or anything like that. So when this space became available and it was at the right price, my uncle and I actually stepped in and opened it for her because at the time I was only 17, so I needed like an adult to sign the lease. But my 18th birthday was last June, so we're transferring the lease into my name at the end of this week, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, but I've always been the person that does like all the interviews, the paperwork, and all of that, just because I am the only one that speaks both English and Vietnamese. And I've handled a lot of paperwork in the past just because I'm a business major, so I've taken all the classes and all of that. So it was just a lot easier for me to just handle everything on like the professional legal standpoint.
So you are running a restaurant while you're going to school.
Yes.
At 18 years old,
Yes.
You own a restaurant. Do you want to talk a little bit more about the process of funding, starting the restaurant, and being able to start that at 18? I know you said your uncle was involved, but I'd love to hear more.
So this used to be a Vietnamese restaurant prior, and I was actually the previous owner's waitress when he first opened it. So I knew the location a little bit. So when he was planning to sell, he reached back out to my family because he knew that my mom like had always had a love for like cooking and baking because she does a lot of like family functions.
How did you go about like doing that and being a senior in high school? I'm assuming you were a senior at the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
The funding, we did a 50-50 deal with them. So we did 50 cash, 50 check for buying the actual restaurant itself. And at the time, we just had a lot of family members help us because they all knew this was my mom's dream. So we pulled together the funds within like a month, I'd say, and we just paid everything, and then we just signed the lease.
Wow, that is a lot to manage. 17. Also, this sauce is so good.
Thank you.
This is not my traditional 10 a.m. breakfast,
Yeah.
but it is really good. So, obviously, you said you started this because it's been your mom's dream. Why is serving traditionally Vietnamese food like so important to you and to her?
She came to the U.S. not really knowing what she wanted to do, but she's always loved baking and cooking. Like she did it during her free time. She would just like look through YouTube and find recipes and then perfect them on her own. And then she started like making different pastries and delicacies and just giving them out to like neighbors or friends or like bringing them to parties, and people were just like, you could really make like a good living off of this. And she was like, oh. And then she just kept making like different dishes and just giving them to random people. And she like always was hesitant, I'd say, to open a restaurant just because like of the workload that did come with it. And my brother is autistic, so he needs like a caregiver at all times, and it has to be one of the parents. So she was always hesitant of opening a restaurant. So I really say this kind of just fell in our lap and she kind of just took it on.
Can you talk a little bit about the reception from the Okemos and Meridian community, like since coming in, since you're relatively new? Have you had decent business? Have people been like wanting to hear your story? Like,
we actually have been doing very well. We got a lot of regulars in a short amount of time, positive feedback. We've been dabbling into nonprofits and fundraisers. So far, we've helped MSU VSA, their Vietnamese Student Association. We just did a fundraiser with them in January. And then we did a Business Professionals of America at Okemos High School fundraiser. And we have one with the elementary school at Okemos in April. But we're looking to like branch out with that a little bit more, just like helping as many fundraisers as possible.
Wow. You were doing so much and you were so young. That is so impressive. How's the restaurant staffed? Like, is it family? Is it just
So right members? Now in the back we keep it primarily family, just to, you know, keep the recipes in and everything. So it's my mom, it's just her recipes, just because she does need to be with my little brother most times, so she just comes in and like makes all the stuff ahead of time. And then it's my grandma, which is my mom's mom, that's standing back there most of the time. And then we have a dishwasher, and then most of the wait staff is just community.
Do you have any like particular anecdotes from your childhood or growing up about learning to cook Vietnamese food or learning to appreciate it?
So when my little brother was born, I'm 7 years older, so at the time I was 7, she would always be making steam buns. That was her thing during her pregnancy, and that's what she was trying to perfect at the time. And she's brought that and incorporated it into the restaurant, and they've become a very big hit here. So she's selling anywhere like, she's producing about 200 to 400 of them a day at this point, and just selling them at the restaurant. But our baos are very focused on the Vietnamese side. So it's just like a fluffy white dough on the outside, and then it's filled with grinded up pork meat, a hard-boiled egg, and sausage.
Do you have a favorite dish here, favorite drink, something?
I'd say, this is gonna sound really basic, but it is pho. I'd say our pho is probably one of the best phos. Well, I sound biased because she is my mom, but I'd say I've had a lot of different phos growing up. Like, I've been to Texas and all of that. And I feel like everyone has their own twist on it, especially because there's like different sides of Vietnam. There's Southern Vietnamese food and Northern. She is more Southern, I'll say that, but her spices work very well together, and we've been told that like our pho is the best they've had, coming from like all different places in the U.S.
Can you talk about kind of the importance or why you've chosen to offer like vegan options? Or
So most of my family is Buddhist, and within the Buddhist religion, there's a lot of days where they only can be vegan or vegetarian, depending on what they choose. And those days could last anywhere from like a week to 49 days to 100 days, just depending on like what it's for. Especially if there's like a death in the family will probably like be vegan for about 100 days following the death. So it was just very important for us to offer vegan and vegetarian dishes for those people. And there's been a lot of vegan and vegetarian like people who just come in and ask us like, hey, do you serve this, this, and that? That's like fully vegan. And we're just like, yeah. And they just bring all their family, and it's just been a hit for them. And then there's a lot of people in the community that is gluten-free, including me. So it was really easy for me to incorporate gluten-free into our menu. And it's helped a lot of people who are celiac and they're really scared to like go out to eat. And we've had positive feedback on all of our gluten-free food from them as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I come from a pretty small town, and so like there was absolutely no options to go out to eat ever besides like the one Thai restaurant in town. So it is nice to be able to go out to eat and have a really good tasting vegan food, because this is really good.
Thank you. So we're open Tuesday through Sunday, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. We're closed on Mondays. We are doing a 15% off Wednesdays right now, so every single Wednesday until further notice. We have a 15% off. We have a 10% off for all students. Doesn't matter if you're a college or high school student, just a student. And then we do a 5% senior discount and a 15% military discount.
Yeah, so it was super nice talking to you. These are so good, and I will definitely be coming back to try some more vegan or vegetarian options here. And I will be telling my friends as well.
Thank you.
So it seems like Pho 777 has got you covered if you're trying to eat vegan, and I've got you covered if you're trying to eat green. Come check out Pho 777 on Marsh Road here in Meridian Township, and as always, eat green and eat local.